And welcome back, everybody. Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith, just Keith. I'm here. Where are you guys at? Glad to see you here. I hope you're hanging out and having a good time today. Big day tomorrow. We had good data today. We had good data last week. We had good data the week before that. We had good data the week before that. What are we going to get tomorrow? Well, maybe the charts can give us a little bit of a guide. Hey, I hope so. Fingers crossed. Welcome, everybody, to Crypto Before Dark. If you haven't done so, please do us a solid and go click the like button. It costs absolutely nothing. If you're over on X, give us a repost, all right? Just hit the little recycle button there. You can even repost it with a comment. Say whatever you'd like. Hit your favorite tag or favorite asset that you want to tag it on there. I don't care, whatever you want to do there. But either way, subscribe. You know what? Hey, we have a ton of people who watch who don't subscribe, which is the weirdest thing. About 11,000 people on YouTube, about 300 people on X, about 17,000 people. About 17,000 people on X, about 300 people over on Rumble. We got Twitch. We have Kick, Carolina Keith _1 everywhere. It's very, very simple to find us. Hey, we're going to talk some charts, talk some data, see if we can't make sense of all the craziness. If I have done anything this run, it's stressed myself out all the way to the max. I've made a ton of mistakes. I've made good money. I can't complain about the gains that I've made because I could have made none, or I could have lost money like I did this the first time around, right? If you guys remember way back in the day, me talking about this, when I first started this, I made $45,000 in a week. Snap your fingers and it was gone. You know what I mean? Just like that. That was in December. No, that was in 2019, 2020. Right? I made a very, very, very killer leverage trade on XRP. Made a ton of money. From there on, things changed. And I said, I got to do this better, right? Went on a hell of a streak. Made nearly $500,000 total. Now, I didn't get all that, obviously. But I made nearly $500,000 from nothing, right? So this run's been a bit different. I had extremely high expectations for myself. And while I've made good money, I haven't made the goals that I thought I would make. Now, that being said, I've had some great times and done some amazing things, and I've been able to take care of some stuff in real life that was very, very important and very, very crucial to my family getting into certain spots that would help us for a very, very long time. You know what I mean? So I can't complain too much about that. We've done some amazing things here at the house. We moved to a new place, managed to pay vehicles off, managed to get things that we needed to have for the family to get around the neighborhood and get around the town. Managed to take care of some stuff over at the farm, managed to help out with some equipment. We've done a lot of great things, but man, this market has absolutely bulldog beat the death out of my brains. It's put me into a near depression state. And it's not because of the money. It's just very, very difficult to worry about yourself and everyone else. I told you guys from the jump I would do things different on here. You know what I mean? I told you guys right off the rip that I would do things different. I wouldn't be the guy who pushes something and then drops it on everybody's head. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy. I'm not a pump and dumper. I can't stand that crap. I don't take backroom deals. You guys don't know this, but I'm offered something all the time and I turn it down. Every day I'm offered a new deal and I turn it down, or multiple deals per day. Turn them down. Told y'all guys I was going to do it the right way, and I've tried my best to do it the right way. It's been very, very difficult. I might be making some changes in the future here, so don't fret too much. I'll still be on here doing live streams and stuff, but man, this has absolutely beat me to death, and I can't let this wear me down in here. I have to stay strong in here because I've got 2 kids to take care of and a wife to handle. You know what I mean? So, hey man, stick with it. I don't quit. You got to kill me. I've said that before. I don't quit. You got to kill me over before I'm going to stop. I don't like being beaten. I don't like to lose. So I'm going to kick it into overdrive here and really, really dig hard and try to make as much as I can and hope everyone at home gets to do the same thing. Without further ado, and no more hearing me blabber, let's get to some charts, shall we? I hope you guys hit like while we were talking. You probably didn't, but that's okay. I hope you at some point hit like here in the near future. We have a comment section on X. If you're watching over on X, you got to jump over and click on the video to see the comments, to leave a comment where I can see it. Because if you don't, well, guess what? I can't see it. So YouTube's a little easier to use. I get it. So if you guys want to watch over on YouTube, there's nothing wrong with that. But I am going to cut YouTube off about halfway through this. And then you can use Rumble and you can use X. Why? Because YouTube pays absolutely nothing. That's why. And almost no one watches. Can I be real with you? There you go. So let's get right into the first thing I want to talk about, which is Bitcoin. I'll get to the rate cuts here in a minute, but let's talk about Bitcoin first. What we've seen so far here on a daily chart, we have our red lines marked out here, right? Let me actually record this bit so I can repost this, right? So what you're seeing on the chart right now in the red dashed lines are short levels where people bet against the market, and not just some people bet against the market, an overwhelmingly large amount of orders were put in to bet against the market. We can see this on the chart, which gives us a leg up and an advantage up to understand what's about to go on, okay? I need you guys to understand it's not me guessing at this. This is real data, and we take this data and we apply it to what we're doing, all right? So all these levels up here are reversal levels that indicate where lots and lots of shorts or bets against the market came in, right? You're seeing them all through here where the red dash lines are. Guess what the green dash lines are? You got it. Those are bets going up or calls. They're betting for the market. They're taking a risk that the market will go up. Ta-da. It's really not that complicated, is it? We see these levels. We start all the way on a daily chart and we go all the way down to the 15 minutes sometimes to find where these levels start and stop. We call these levels liquidity zones because that's where the most orders, the most sales, and the most buys piled in. We can monitor these levels, and since we can monitor these levels, we know that in this giant tug of war that's going on called price action, that we can see who's pulling the strongest and who's pulling the weakest, whether that be the bulls to make it go up or the bears to make the price go down. We're constantly monitoring this, all right? There are tons of orders at 117. There are tons of orders between 119 and 122. And then there are a ton of, call it 119 to 120, and tons of orders up at around 123. Not only that, but we can see where the most risky orders are. The most risky orders are at 117 and 120 going up, and then coming back down here, the most risky orders are at 114 and about 110. There are some down at around 107, 105, but these are less risky. And what do I mean by that? So if you guys don't know how leverage works, essentially the market makers will give you money to gamble with so long as you don't blow it all. And you leverage that money by, you put $100 in, you take a 30x bet, $100 turns into $3,000. And that extra money is yours. Obviously you give that back, but you get to keep what's left over, right? That's leveraged betting or leveraged buying and selling or puts and calls, sells and buys, right? This goes on nonstop, 24/7, 365. It picks up at certain points and slows down at certain points, but that's what we see here on this chart. What do you see now? You see price currently attacking one of these levels right at about 117. Now, what do we need to see for this to eradicate this level and break over it? We can go down a little lower and see that. This 4-hour candle just closed right before the stream started at 4 o'clock. Here's our previous high that we made right at about 116.8. You would think liquidations, but if you scroll to the left a little bit, you can see we had a ton of liquidations pile in right here at about 116.9, 117. And you can all the way 117.4 for the less risky and 117 even for the fairly risky. All right, gets even riskier over here, right? These are extremely risky. Why? Because they're very, very close to the price. Very, very touch and go on, is this short going to handle it or is this short going to let loose? So long as we don't see a big bearish engulfing come in on this candle, meaning a big fat red reversal candle following in right here, we should be all right. This is actually very, very strong price action and shows me that she might be ready to boogie here for the next several weeks. Why do I say that? Well, if we scroll out a little bit, we can see that we are in a clear uptrend here. You can see higher highs and higher lows as we go along. Look a little closer and you can see the daily. These were our last highs right here at this resistance line that I've got labeled. And you can see this resistance line comes all the way over here and catches some of these candles along the way. You could make a zone out of this and say it's not just a line, it's an entire area. I'll buy that. I'll say that entire area right there is resistance. And that 117 to 117.4 area is also part of that. Good news is we have jumped the heavy part of that resistance, which was right in through here. That resistance line you see labeled as resistance. And if you can't read that, I'll bump those numbers up a little bit. Those are rookie numbers. There you go. Now you can read it. Resistance. All right, we are above that. That's where the last low was. We're making a new high. Sorry, that's where the last high was. We're making a new high. That new high shows me we could go all the way up here to the 120 level if we can maintain this. Again, we don't want a big bearish engulfing to come in. That would kind of ruin it for us. If I pull Fibonacci retracement from the high up here at the wick to the bottom of the wick and I drag this across and treat it like a trend line, right here was our first trend. We broke out and took off. So I'm going to move this a little farther over here just so I can see it a little bit more clearly. This may or may not be the correct trend line. Doesn't matter right now. I'm showing you where I think price is going to go based on Fibonacci retracement, which is sort of an educated guess on where the price is going to go based on math. All right, so we're floating in between fibs here. This is the 50 fib and this is the 618 fib. This area is what we call the golden pocket, often where price goes back to, hence why it's called the golden pocket. We haven't gotten there yet, have we? Nope, close, not there yet. That's 117.7. Remember that 117.4 I said earlier, though? That would be just above it. That would wipe out a ton of shorts, a ton of people betting against the market. Above that is the top of the golden pocket at about 119.4, 119.5. There's liquidity up there right at about 119.9 to 120. Those two levels will be my next levels of interest because that's where the bulls will try to attack and pull that rope to their side and win the tug of war. All right. One step at a time. We'll go from there. That's what I see so far as liquidity and short-term price action goes on Bitcoin. This is already 6.5 minutes long. Most people aren't going to watch this full clip, so I'll go to the next piece here without recording it. All right, cool. So take the fibs off. How about moving averages that people say don't work? Which starts to annoy me after a while because they do. It's just not 100%, so people get all in their feelings about it. Let me have some water. By the way, full water, full low fat, low calorie, high carb diet right not high carb, high protein diet right now. Some carbs aren't illegal. And also I've done over 2 miles jogs each day for the last 2 days. I'm going to try to continue this as long as I can. I'm down 4 pounds already. I'm going to try to drop 20 to 40 pounds by the end of the year. That sounds insane, right? I've done it a lot of times before. I'm older now, but I think I can get it done. So my face may look a little different over the next several weeks, but I'm trying to get my mind in the right space. You know what I mean? This shit plays hard on you. All this plays very, very hard on your head. It messes with your emotions. It messes with your head and causes your body to react crazily. I know that sounds weird, but it just is what it is. Moving averages, you're over the 50, perfect bounce. Very nice. You're over the 21. Very nice. You're over the 100 moving average. Very nice. The 8 EMA is kind of lined up with the trend line right there. Very nice. These all look good. Check mark. I don't need to worry about them. All right, perfect. How about the Ichimoku cloud? Here's where it gets tricky. Price is inside the cloud still. We need the price to be over the cloud. It's still inside, which creates a bit of resistance. So this sets up a scenario for me tomorrow. We all know the federal funds rate tomorrow is announced at 2 p.m. Eastern. We live streamed that press conference afterwards at 2:30. We started about 2:25, right? But we do a live reading of what Jerome says. He happens to give charts sometimes, which we use to kind of help judge what's going to happen. We watch his mannerisms, his facial expressions, the way he responds to questions, the questions that are asked to him, whether he's getting softballs or not. We want to see his emotional responses to some things. We watch his hands and his eyes because he has a terrible poker face. He gives away what he's thinking a lot. And that can lead us into decisions moving in the future, right? So we live stream that tomorrow at 2:30. Most people expect a 25% or 25 point basis cut. That would be 0.25%. It's possible we get more than that because of the really, really crappy jobs revisions that came in, which said basically the entire 2024, you lied to us. And actually no jobs were created and all those numbers were made up. What, are you kidding me? You just made numbers up? Yeah, that really happened. So no jobs were created in 2024. And in order to spur jobs, in order to spur job creation, you have to lower rates to do that. Now that creates higher inflation, which is what they try to balance. So don't expect a big, massive swing in cuts. Expect no more than a 50-point basis, but probably a 25-point cut. Polymarket has it at 80-something% right now for a cut. And Polymarket's pretty accurate. It is what it is. The money is usually pretty close. In case you didn't know, that's kind of like a betting line. The money's pretty close normally. So I kind of expect a 1/4-point cut. I do expect more than one cut this year. I expect at least 2, probably not 3, but at least 2. The big crazy swings in the market happen when there's a massive cut or a surprise cut. All right. A surprise would be more than 25. If we get a 50 basis point cut tomorrow, that's a big deal in my opinion. We'll see how it happens. I don't want to hold my hopes out for more than that. I really don't even expect the 25-point cut. I kind of think we'll get punched in the dick and he just says no cuts because he can. We'll see. He's out in March, by the way. He won't be there in March anymore. March is his end of his term and he's gone. I believe they're replacing some members on the FOMC in the very near future. Also, which will be more pro the current regime. We'll see what that does for the market. It's in my opinion that they don't really know what to do with the market either. They're just pundits and talking heads, one step at a time. Last thing on Bitcoin here. RSI looking fairly smooth. That's a nice bullish strength right there, working its way toward overbought, but not there yet. MACD, you're pretty smooth. You got the orange line, which is the trigger line, about to cross over the midline here. That's good. We want to see that right there. And I've got another indicator down here, but I haven't really fiddled with too much yet. I've been testing some, but I'm not sold on it yet. I think it's more of a low time frame indicator. So let me drop that one off. All right, pivot points. As far as your pivot point goes, you got plenty of room right here on the way down, but I want you to look up here. R1, the R1 pivot, which is resistance pivot, is right in line with this liquidity level that I was talking about earlier. That's foreshadowing 101 in my opinion. And also note that R2 is up here near the liquidity level up top. So we have confluence of those areas. That's 120 and 123 and some change for you people keeping score at home. All right. That's what I got for Bitcoin. Let's move on to some other stuff. I'm sure everybody else wants to hear about other stuff. I kind of do too. I get sick and tired of hearing about Bitcoin, but we got to understand that that's the king and that's just the way it is. Shout out to everybody watching. What's up, Raging Beagle? Good to see you again, brother. I'm glad you're back. What's up, Diego? Good to see you, brother. Glad to have you on here. Appreciate you guys reposting. Hey, Raging Beagle, give us a repost over there. Shout out to Cody Kensel. He was first on the stream on YouTube. Shout out, brother. Appreciate you being here. Charts Can't Lie. What's up, my guy? Wesley Hart, how you doing? Legal Assassin. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Colo. What's up, Miss Colo? How you doing? Don't beat yourself up, Professor. You're a blessing to many, including me, even if you don't know it. Thank you. I appreciate the encouraging words. Whew, this has been a rough ride. It's been a rough ride. I try to keep it together over here and I make it look like I don't care, but I do. All right. What's up, Terry? Good to see you. Need this rate cut tomorrow to keep things rocking. Yes, I know, dude. We'll talk about it tonight on Zoom. All right. What's up, Brandful? Good to see you. He says, I'll hop over on Rumble. Shout out, brother. I don't have the Rumble stream pulled up, but I do have it running. I can't see the comments over there right now because it's too much over here. And Crypto Big D, what's up, brother? Good to see you. All right. Now let's get into some other stuff. Let's start with Bitcoin dominance. What is Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin dominance is a measure of how much money is in the market in Bitcoin versus everything else. Guess what? She's trying to break out. She's trying to get over the 821 EMA as well. Watch out. This does look like a reversal pattern to me. If this breaks out, you're going to see more money come into Bitcoin than into other stuff, which is kind of part of the rotation. The pivot over here is at 59%. We did almost got down to my box right here. So I think there might be some down left in it, but maybe not until after some up. It did get really crushed in price action on the way down here. I accidentally knocked off the wrong indicator. Let me add the MACD back. I like to use the MACD just as a confluence indicator to kind of go to myself and say, oh, okay, yeah, or no. MACD is curled up on this. It does look like it's trying to gain back some strength. Be careful here. This could mean more money comes into Bitcoin than other stuff. I still have some Bitcoin. Haven't let it go. I try to keep a little bit just because I don't know if this is ever going to stop. But so far, so good. You could argue that the weekly is not broken out, but I had the daily pulled up so you'd kind of see it. That's log. This is linear. Either way, it looks like it might be a breakout. So be careful. We may see some money come back into Bitcoin here and only give some to altcoins, which brings me to my next point, altcoins. Here's others.d. This is a measure of how much money is in the market in altcoins, top 10 compared to everything else, excluding the top 10. I'm sorry. It's altcoins excluding the top 10. How much money is coming in? So far, you got an uptrend here. It's not super aggressive. Not super aggressive, but that's an uptrend. You can see the higher highs and higher lows, and price hasn't really broke out underneath that yet. That's not terrible. You are sitting on top of all the moving averages that don't work, remember? It's sitting over top of all those. So sitting here is not a bad thing. This could mean that these things kind of run with Bitcoin while Bitcoin kind of leads the pack. That's okay if that happens. It's not the end of the world. You do have some resistance here on the weekly. That 50 moving average is kind of bearing down, but you do got an 821 cross coming in right there on the weekly, which is a good sign. That's a bullish sign. All right. So what's up? Who's that? Good to see you, brother. Go hit like. Appreciate it. And go share this around social media, man. Let everybody know you're watching. Let everybody know you're here. Let everybody know you see what's going on. And you're tuned in to what's going on with the market. We do these updates 2 times per week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the 4 o'clock hour, 4:20 on Tuesday, 4 o'clock on Thursday. I may have to shift those times around a little bit next week. I got a lot of family stuff going on, but we'll get streams done regardless. All right, so let's stop this. We've done Bitcoin dominance, other dominance, and Bitcoin. Let's get in some of the charts you guys had requests about. Let's start with H-bar, and then we'll kind of work through them. Shall we? We shall. All right. Let's do some clips because I got to start posting clip videos again, even though I hate doing it. All right. H-bar. So over the 821, but under the 50. Technically, you got a lower high right here. There's your first high, second high, third high, fourth high, all lower, 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 lower. Be careful. This is still technically trapped. All right. Now you can argue and say, oh, hey, that's actually okay. That's a breakout and back test. You might be right. What do we need to see? I want to see a high. And I mean a higher high, something higher than that level right there. Needs to break above that. You get above that level and she might be off to the races. Fingers crossed. You're over every moving average except the 50. All right. It is trying to bullish flip right now, but be careful. Like I said, this is risky at best. Now, if I put it in linear mode, you still got a similar look here, log linear. It doesn't necessarily matter. You could argue it might have a touch more down left in it, but I think that's pretty darn close to perfect. A perfect back test, perhaps. Pivot points, you are fighting with the pivot line right now. See that right there? It's under there. Playing back and forth here, a little bit of ping pong or pickleball, whatever you lazies play these days. Ichimoku cloud, you're not quite 4 out of 4 yet, but you do got some positives. You got your lag line, fighting the candles, needs to get over. All right, you got the baseline over the conversion line. That's a good sign. Not enough, but it's a good sign. All right, red cloud on the end, that needs to flip green. I need to see the price over the cloud as well. So you got some improvements to make there. RSI trying to trend up, still kind of is. MACD, you got that sweep going here, lower volume. So I need to see this volume increase here. And the trigger line's about to break the midline. That's not a bad thing at all. A little bit of progress goes a long way. She's made improvements. She's not quite there yet. Fingers crossed. We get a new high here of any type of new high here, and she's going to move. Sorry, scammers are calling me. Yes, that's a real thing. I just got a call from a scammer and I declined it. It happens literally 10 times a day. Y'all tell me, do y'all get 10 calls a day from scammers trying to get y'all to do crap? Like, come on, dude.
Come on, man.
How many times can you possibly call me from Business Solutions? Come on, dude. I'm not that dumb. I'm pretty dumb, but I'm not that dumb. All right, let's get into the meat of it here. Let's go to everybody's favorite XRP.
Damn.
I know, dude. So let's start right here, right off the jump. XRP maintaining support here. You see, I drew this green support box a while back, and you've seen the red resistance box that I drew earlier on Bitcoin. Well, you're seeing the inverse of that here by having a support box. She held support, barely, but it held support. Not only did it hold support, but it broke out. Log, linear, doesn't matter. She's broken out either way. What's the holdup? Well, not much of one. Aside from, I'd like to see it make a new high up here. It did make a new high right here. Do you see that? That's a high. That's awesome. That's a new high. Now, this is a higher low. That's no problem at all. I need higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. That's how we make uptrends, folks. Baby steps, but she looks pretty good here if it can maintain. Right? You're over every moving average if it closes today here. All right. As far as the Reaper strategy goes, your stop loss would be underneath the 100 moving average. Pretty good look, honestly. How about the cloud? You're getting close, but you're not quite there. Red cloud on the end, that's not good enough. You're not quite broken out of the cloud just yet, but it looks like it wants to. Close. You do have the baseline over the conversion line. That's the blue over the red. And you do have the lag line trying to break out right here and get over the candles. That's pretty good. So we're halfway home as far as the cloud goes. How about the oscillators, the RSI and the MACD? Again, these are just confluence indicators helping us kind of build a base here. We do have bullish strength. You see that? Strength continues to rise. Very good. And how about the MACD? Just yesterday, she crossed over the midline. That's the orange over the midline, which is more bullish than bearish. A lot of bullish sentiment here. Yeah, I would agree. Pivot line. This is the one that sold me on buying more. And yes, I bought more. Want to know how much I bought? Right down below is the link, wap.com/786. wap.com/786. All my buys and sells are there. We do these charts 24/7, 365, nonstop every single day. I do take some time off, but not very much. I'm going to try to take off more, but I can't right now because charts are improving and we have a federal funds rate coming in. Your chance to hang out with people who actually care. I promise you I care way more than most other people. All right, wap.com/team786. It's dirt cheap to come hang out with us and be in a group that cares. We do Zooms. We do private streams. My entire buy sell portfolio is over there. Every emotion that I have as far as chart is written down in the chat over there. You see what I'm saying? We bounce perfectly off this pivot line. That's a beautiful back test. I'm here for that. All that's left is making a new high. Those new highs aim for 320. That level's been held in the past. And 335. That level's also been held in the past, as you can see right over here, right? So improvements. I like it. Where does this lead us out weekly? Well, we've talked about this a lot, but I'm going to show you again. Where could this lead us? Well, if I pull fibs on this, it's actually a perfect fib breakout and back test as well. This says this runs till about October or November maybe. And the breakout levels, beside what I already told you, 320 and 345 to 350, are $4 and $4.40. These are take profit fibs up here, or where things are likely to slow down a bit. That's one level that I think might get hit by mid to late October. Okay. Let's scroll out a little bit here to the weekly. Yeah, here's the whole chart, the whole weekly shebang. If I pull fibs from this high to this low and I drag her out over here, this thing shows me that we might make a move till all the way to the end of 2026. Wouldn't that be wild? Now, I don't guarantee that, everybody. That's actually something that I don't think will happen right now. I think it's possible. I think it's possible that we get through this level of 330 that you've seen it play hell with before. I think it's possible we get through that 430 to 460 level, which is what I just showed you on the fibs right there, short term. Remember that? Right here. Look at all that confluence of those lines built up together. All right. Let me drop some jazz in. Bow for the XRP people. Drop some smooth listening jazz to you, right? Because you're going to see this video back and you're going to say, damn, he actually knew. Yeah, we knew. And I want you to remember who knew, okay? I remember who told you this stuff, because eventually you're going to say, oh, I forget what his name was. No, his name was Keith, and it was the 786 Assassins, all right? Don't forget it. We were here way before, and we'll be here after. I'm not going anywhere. I might not be around as much as I was once before, all the time, constantly, but I'm here always. Don't forget it. 430, 450, that's that next level. And then we get that magical $6 level that I do think will play out. Could we do more than that? Sure, we could do more than that, but that's not something that you should bank on. That's 13 to 22. Don't go thinking that's going to happen. You get your hopes up only to get let down. That's hopium for now. I don't want you to fall for the hopium drug, all right? We also have pivots right there on the weekly at 430, right about that same level that we saw on other stuff. So let's keep a level head and maintain here. Let's see some new highs. We get some new highs. That's going to change things. We get some changes. Well, that's good for sentiment. More money piles in. Fingers crossed here. We get up to that 430 level and we break it. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. I can't control the doodle always. Sorry. Now I got to go a little fast here because I had a bunch of requests. I don't know what she's barking at. I don't really care, to be honest with you. She does this all the time. It's a doodle, dude. And I'm not getting out of this desk to do that right now. She can just bark. Let me do it. Let me do this. There you go. Just mute it and say no to her. All right. NBIS. This was requested over on X. I give everyone the ability to request anything they want to on X whenever you see me post a link. She's been absolutely screaming. I've never seen this chart before. It's up post market as well. While it's got a new high right here, it's awesome. It's exactly what I just said I wanted to see from XRP. Profit levels here are 143, 184, 266 in log mode. Flip it over to linear just for those people who don't believe in that, and that's 107 to 133. I think this thing's got legs for the future. It does have gaps, so I want to warn you, it may slow down a little bit on the way. That's a monster gap that it made right there out of nowhere. No earnings report or nothing. I've told you guys before, you can't trust earnings reports because it's all made up line numbers anyway. But she's had one absolute monster rip over here. Really glad to see it for you. This chart's still got legs. I think it gets up to these take profit fibs in time. Be warned though, she's overheated. Look at that RSI. Holy smokes. So she might slow down a little bit. Still a very good look. USAR. US Rare Earth. So rare earth minerals is a real thing. There's a lot of different assets that run charts for rare earth minerals, whether that be tungsten or lithium or cobalt or nickel or cadmium or platinum. Rare earth minerals are very, very popular, especially on the futures market. So daily wise, looks like you got a breakout right here. Even though that's got a high wick on it, looks like it wants to go. It's over every moving average. Downside on this is limited here. I would set my stop loss at around 13 flat. You know what? You could even set your stop loss at around 11 and still have plenty of upside. A new high at about $19 here would be great and make sense. Let's see if it gets there. This is another really good looking chart. Slow, steady up, but up nonetheless. All right, let's look at Tesla. It was requested. We go over Tesla almost every day in our Discord. We have a whole section just named Tesla, TSLA. We have a whole thread just for it. I constantly share charts on it. Had this buy all the way back here, posted in the Discord. I constantly look at this, like I said, so we were on this way before it took off. She's up in Sniper's Alley now after the last couple monster days. As a matter of fact, I think Elon did a 69 420 joke and made out of this, right? And it worked. He went exactly to 420 as the prophecy fulfilled, as he said. So in Sniper's Alley for now, over $400 is key here. Anything over 400 points us back to the inauguration short levels, which piled in right there. Saw me talk about that earlier on Bitcoin, remember? Inauguration shorts. That's the next target here. I know it's slow going. It's a stock and it takes a while, but this is a snappier stock than most. So 487-ish is my next goal after 400. You will hit 450 and slow down a little bit, but this one looks pretty darn great. Google, going to be the same thing. We have a whole section for Google in our Discord. We go over it constantly. All right, big run here for Google. You're almost up to the 1618 take profit extension, all the way at $263. That's my next target. I know this is an outrageous look, and it's absolutely screaming, and it's super overheated. I get it. But until this thing comes off of its high horse, it's got more legs. It's even up post-market. We'll see what the rate cuts do to this. We may see this slow down some. My slowdown levels would be 240 and 230. Looks pretty good from here, though. Wow. LEU. I'm not going to have time, Jay Gross, but Caspa's kind of floating around here a little bit sideways after that big run up it had. It needs a little bit more juice for a breakout, but I would have your eyes on it since we're having Fed rate cuts. I'm not going to have time to go over because I got a bunch of others. And I only have 4 minutes left. I'm going to try to get to all of them that I can, all right? Liu, trying to make a move here. She's above Sniper's Alley on the short term right here. I like that. 277, 294, and 321 are my breakout levels. Boy, look at that weekly. She's on a rip. Holy smokes. Very, very parabolic uptrend. I do think those numbers I just said happen. This is a good look. TLN. Thailand Energy Corporation. Look at this shit. Whatever. Nice erect dick going straight up in the air. Breakout levels are already happening now. You are into the 1272. 1414 is at 414. 425 for the 168. Goodness gracious, what a move. Tailcoin. Let's jump on this one real quick. So not quite. She hasn't broken out yet. As you can see, close, but she is building a big wedge. That's good. Once this wedge breaks out either to the downside or to the upside, that's where the move should be made. You are underneath the 50 and 200 moving averages. Caution. But you're fighting the 100 moving average now. I would wait for a breakout. If it was my money, for me right now, that one's going to be a no. Ondo. This is a killer right here. I'm going to take a second on this one. Let's see if we can get some more data here. There we go. Flip this out to weekly. Several different charts had big runs up and are now consolidating around and playing with this weekly 50 moving average. It's my hope that these close over the weekly 50, because if it can close over the weekly 50, it can take another run at that short-term high to $1.06. That leads me out to where I think it can go in the future if it gets above 106, which is that last high. That's a breakout, by the way, on the weekly, and that runs out to about the end of Q1 2026. All right, so those levels for me are 150, 180 for the breakouts. And if we go really wild and this thing makes a new all-time high, $3 to $4, $4.50 actually, $3 to $4.50 actually would be my levels of holy smokes. Are you kidding me? Look at how it's back testing on top of the 50 and all the other moving averages, playing around with the 821. I don't necessarily like that, but I do like the weekly look on this one. Might take a little bit of time, but I think it'll get there. Flocky. All right. So Flocky's tied up in the moving averages, and it's underneath the 100 and 50. I would need to see this get above that 50 before I'd make a run on this. I do see that breakout that you see. Don't be twisted. See that? That's good, but I need to see some confirmation here. These meme coins are hella risky, so I need proof of that one. And last one, ATH. ATH is Aether. Holy smokes, look at that thing go. Wow. What an absolute unit of a rip. I drew this support. You guys see me not draw anything yet. I drew this support box down here, what appears to be August. Look at that. Holy smokes, it went right down to support and absolutely snapped off a win. Love it. Love it. On the monthly chart, this thing's going for new highs. This is the really tricky part about this bull run. It's been so picky and choosy on the ones that have gone up. Shout out to Matoshi, brother. Good to see you. Really interesting that it broke loose like that. That's shocking to me. Love to see it. How much farther can it go? Well, that's the big question, isn't the $1 million question, right? She's up in the golden pocket right now. You see me talk about that earlier. She's facing Sniper's Alley. That's 786, 886. That's at about 6 to 8 cents. And I do think it can get there. Great move. If she breaks out and makes a new high, that's 13 to 21 cents. Holy smokes, what a move there. Absolutely love to see it. And with that, I did not cut YouTube off, by the way. I left it running the whole time. Whoops. Nonetheless, thank you all for watching. 5 o'clock has hit us. We do a full hour on Thursday. We only do 40 minutes on Tuesday. We keep it a little shorter on purpose. Nobody wants to sit here and listen to me constantly yap. I'm just one voice. Please go see other people out there, see what they're saying, and see if they're giving you the same kind of data analytics that I am and not hopes and dreams. All right. I challenge you to go find people that will sit and be honest with you about what's going on and not just blow smoke up your ass. Okay. It's very difficult to find in this world. I try my best to do it. I'm going to keep trying. I think a lot of people have lost faith in me, but when people bet against me, it tends to be my place to do the best, right? Whenever you tell me I can't, I tend to do better. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate everything. I appreciate all you being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. I appreciate it more than you realize. Let's make the best of our todays, the worst of our tomorrows. I had a rough day yesterday. I hope to make a better day today. It's been a little bit better. Let's hope tomorrow's even better, all right? And last but not least, if nobody else told you today, Keith will tell you today. Keith loves you. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next on the live stream next time. Sky's the limit. I'm out, man. Y'all be good. Peace.